Hello and happy Thursday to all out there. Welcome into the PHLY Phillies podcast. Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington, Tyler Zulli with you on this frigid cold Thursday here in Philadelphia. Tomorrow, winter advisory is in place, and all it makes me think about day after day after day after day is Clearwater, Florida. And Renee has the scoreboard up here.
Trying to avoid this.
We got 70 days till opening day, 26 days until February 14th. So there's your early Valentine's Day reminder as well, until pitchers and catchers report. And then February 19th, the full squad reports. So we are at least 26 days away from seeing warmth and sunshine on our television screens as we obsessively talk about Phillies spring training.
I'm just ready for some warmth on my skin, Jamie.
Yeah.
It's time. I'm
sick of moisturizing
cold.
every day.
Well, I still moisturize in the summer.
I
but
don't
just
as
differently.
much.
Yeah, definitely not as much. But I'm tired of being cold. That feeling of like the cold air just smacking you in the face is just brutal. I'm over it. And I'm ready. And I'm also just annoyed by the fact that it's still icy out on the sidewalks. I'm just going to continue complaining about that.
I obtained 70 pounds of salt this morning because my driveway was like black ice. And I have mother-in-laws and mothers walking around and can't have that. So
exactly.
They were sold out yesterday, so I got some today. But it makes me think of Clearwater. And if you want to join us, go to allphly.com. Philly Sports Trip is making a trip down there, and we're going to be a part of it. And hopefully, if you're able and capable, we'd love to see you down there. But let's get to the Philly stuff. Our buddy Absolutely Hammered is going to join us at 12:30. We have a Down on the Farm report. We got Guess That Swing. And one of our diehards gave us today's daily positivity.
Yeah.
So a lot to get to today. But we'll start with the caption of the show, which is Jon Heyman. And Jon Heyman, I think of all the reporters out there, Jon is the most... Let me just throw everything at the wall. You can't prove me wrong.
It's always potentially possible, maybe.
Basically, any free agent left with a big market club that's competing and willing to spend, if you say there's a possibility the Phillies have interest, and that's what Jon Heyman did with Josh Hader yesterday, says there's a possibility that the Phillies and Hader could still make sense, although the Yankees seem to be first on most people's guest list. Jon Heyman, again, ties the Phillies into another, we call it slop on the internet world, just some Philly slop to the piggies. Come over to the trough and eat it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Josh Hader, we've heard a lot about the Rangers as a potential landing spot. There have been other reports that have come out and talking about the Phillies in that mix, as well as the Dodgers, Cubs, Yankees, also as good fits. I know there was a reporter from CBS who's, if I find his name really quickly on my page, RJ Anderson of CBS Sports predicted the Phillies. You know, it's just speculation at this point. It's all we've got. But I do think there was a breakdown of why each club is a good fit for Josh Hader, and that part was pretty intriguing to me. Because
I mean, I think he makes sense here.
It does make sense.
If you ignore him being a JO.
Right. And I think it comes down to, because a lot of people in the chat that as we talked about Josh Hader over past episodes, has noticeably not liked Josh Hader. And we've brought up Josh Hader, aka Haderades comments back in the day. And it's concerning. It's not good at all. It's very concerning. But it's like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have him be on another team and they have to deal with that? What do you outweigh, the talent or the comments, and trying to hope that he is a different guy and a better person? So,
I'm not really buying it. I think this is Jon Heyman just going, "Hey, Philly fans, they respond to stuff online." Josh Hader, yep. Part of me, hopes they upgrade the team in any way possible, but part of me also goes, Okay, until this actually happens.
Yeah.
I'm kind of haming out a little bit here.
I am, because John Heyman tweets exactly as you mentioned. There's always in there. He does a really good job of like dropping news, but not dropping news and updates. It's always, maybe this is a good fit. They could potentially be the front runner.
Yeah.
Could possibly the favorite.
Possibly.
Or in the mix is the classic
Love a good
phrase.
in the mix.
Because I'm like, what is in the mix? That could be anything. I'm in the mix to win the lottery.
Yeah. Everybody here in the chat is in the mix with the show today.
Right. You guys are all in the mix.
Yeah.
So I mean,
welcome
in
to
the
mix, guys.
is kind of like just a lofty, fluffy way of saying I don't really know, but it's possible. Anything is possible. So yeah, I do feel like, to be honest though, Texas.
Yes, and
we're gonna see him in Texas. I think
that's a real possibility. Maybe the
sense.
Yankees too, if they decide they need another push-in move. Mickey Darkin in the chat is asking, do agents help fuel this type of fire too? 1,000%.
Absolutely, Mickey.
John Heyman is getting that from Josh Hader's agent, who maybe feels like he needs the Yankees to up their offer, the Rangers to hang theirs, and goes, oh yeah, well, he can't rule out the Phillies because they're a possibility. So yes, you can tell which agents are usually puppeteering which reporters. And John Heyman is typically tied to Scott Boras a lot. Bob Nightingale has been tied to some others. So, once you kind of learn the game, you can kind of know which agents are working which reporters.
Yeah, and let's be honest, Yankees, with the need for having, first of all, they look like they're initially going after a starting pitcher and then possibly a reliever. Rangers, after having a awful season last year, I saw rankings of them bottom of the league in save percentage from the 8th inning on. They definitely could use Josh Hader, but they haven't. Neither of these teams have been actively, it seems like, making the push, especially for the Yankees. Hader's kind of their backup option. So to your point, Mickey, and as you're mentioning, Jamie, there's the game within the game. This is all about, hey, you know what? It's been a little bit quiet on the Hader market. Let's spice things up a bit. Let's throw out some other teams, because as we know, human nature, naturally, we want what we can't have. And the more that you feel like you're, oh, wow, other people want Josh now, we're going to go after Josh. It's all like, it's all a dance. It's all a
And
game.
A couple comments in the chat. CMC, I think that's Chris McCall, maybe. Anyway, he said, wasn't he the one that said he was headed to Toronto? No, that was John Morosi who got that one wrong.
John Morosi did have Shohei Ohtani going to Toronto, making a pit stop first.
But he got that from an agent who was pushing the Dodgers into a decision. And then the other one said, this is a great Bill Matz quote. You'll never go broke poking Philly fans, Bill Matz. Yes, I mean, I do think there's a lot to our insatiable appetite for rumors and news about our teams. And reporters know that, and people that write stories know that, and ESPN.com and Fox Sports and, Bleacher Reports, they all know that we're sick in the head. We're here on a Thursday afternoon talking Phillies baseball.
This is why Philly sports games often get flexed and moved into primetime.
Yeah,
this is why
our sickness they prey on.
Yeah, literally, even when the Eagles got knocked out of the playoffs, there was a tweet that came out from the league, and it was like 3 of the top teams in the league with a social media following are no longer in the playoffs. And of course, the Eagles being one, the Cowboys being another. But they know the numbers, the ratings don't lie between whether it's social media traction or ratings for TV. So yeah, they know, okay, you know what? It's been a little quiet. Let's poke the Phillies a little bit.
Yeah, Hypothetical Man wants some Rhys Hoskins news. There's still none there, but I did see somebody last night. What was I reading? Was it The Athletic, or was it somebody said the best fit for Rhys is actually the San Francisco Giants?
That's what we heard. We talked about that on, what's today? Thursday, Tuesday? Because now it seems like the Giants might be looking at Blake Snell and Rhys Hoskins, allegedly. But there's Rhys Hoskins, for a lot of people, what keeps coming out, and this is why we haven't heard anything, is he's their plan B. But he seems like the plan B to Showtime and Naga, meaning they're prioritizing other moves first and then Rhys Hoskins. And so now we're just stuck waiting. But it seems like nobody's actively feeling the need to urgently sign Rhys. They're trying to get those other signings done, but they're remaining in contact. And it's just been like a waiting game.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, hit that like button. Barbara Carroll, yes, I did go sockless with my clogs today, even in the snow.
Disgusting.
No, I did the trial run. I took the girls to school.
It's disgusting.
Disgusting.
It's disgusting. And there's snow on the ground.
So
Where are your
it's
socks?
not cold. My feet are hot.
It's like my brother-in-law was wearing flip-flops. You'd be proud.
Yeah, me and Jason Kelsey are kindred spirits. Like, I want to wear flip-flops, 11 months of the year.
I'm surprised you're not wearing flip-flops, actually. I'm
Well,
surprised
I cover the toes.
covered.
It's a little windy out. So I took the girls to school, and I went, oh, that actually was fine.
So it's too cold for flip-flops, but as long as the toes are covered in the clogs, you're good.
Yeah, Jamie goes from flip-flops to his Air monasteries when it gets cold out.
Meanwhile,
like
I've got
shoes.
my winter boots on.
Oh no, my feet would be sweating in that. No.
It's all warmth and plushiness on the inside. Plus, I've got socks on, of course. And I almost wore my thick fleece socks today because I'm cold. I'm so tired of being cold.
Trapping your feet in those heat boxes.
If your feet and your hands are warm, the rest of your body's typically warm.
I run warm. So, speaking of warmth, the Phillies and spring training non-roster invitees. Get excited, everybody.
Woo!
The Phillies
names.
just about a half hour ago announced their non-roster invitees to spring training, and there's 15 players on the list. Here are the names. Mick Abel, big year for him. We got to find out what this kid is.
It's time, Mick.
Ryan Burr, a right-handed pitcher, veteran of 4 major league seasons. Tyler, here's the one guy that he spent 2023 with the Tampa Bay Rays, so a minor leaguer of sorts. From their own system. So Ryan Burr gets an invite. Carlos De La Cruz, the guy who was made Rule 5 eligible this year for the Phillies, big 6'6" power hitting outfielder / potential first baseman. Kind of an important year for him to see if he's going to make or break it. Aramis Garcia, a catcher who's 31 years old, was in Lehigh Valley last year. Here's a name we all know and love, the Jetpack, Scott Kingery. Gets invited, 29 years old, spent last year in AAA, where he slashed 244, 325, and 400. Played basically, let's see here. They broke it down. 64 games at shortstop, 37 at second base, and 18 in center field. Tyler and I, before the show, were talking about it. There's a good chance Scott Kingery could get some, major league at bats this year. And he's a guy, if he performs well in spring training, we were talking about the Athletics, the Pirates, some of these low down, sad teams. Scott Kingery is not making $12 million a year anymore. So he's a guy you could potentially take a shot on and hope he discovers something.
I know I'm in the chat's again.
Yeah, I don't think it means much. I don't think you have to worry about it. But that versatility, if he's the last guy on the bench, I'll be honest, I don't hate it. He's not good, but somebody that can play short, second, and outfield.
Would you rather try with somebody else? I'm all for
if we're talking about the last spot, we'll see. I
think the question comes down to, is he better than Rodolfo Castro?
Yes.
That's your question.
He's at least equal to.
That's your last bench spot, probably, is Rodolfo Castro / someone else.
Yeah.
Because you're figuring Stubbs is on the team, Sosa's on the team,
yes.
Cave's on the team.
Yes.
So you have probably 2 more bench spots at best. One's an outfielder, one's an infielder. Is he better than Rodolfo Castro?
Right.
I genuinely don't know the answer to that question.
He could also just be a camp body.
That's
so we'll see.
A good point that John's making in the chat too.
Matt Kroon, the outfielder, was in AA Reading last year. Griff McGarry, who we talked about, big year for old Griff. Tyler McKay, a right-handed pitcher. Tyler Phillips, a right-handed pitcher. Nick Podkul, an infielder, spent time in AA Reading last year with the Phillies. Cody Roberts, another catcher. Jose Ruiz, a veteran with 212 major league appearances, was with the Diamondbacks last year, White Sox prior to that, San Diego Padres prior to that. William Simonette, another catcher, who was a Rule 5 pick of the Phillies. Nick Snyder and Cal Stevenson. So again, it's always good to have a lot of catchers in spring training.
I was going to say the breakdown, you've got 3 outfielders, 2 infielders, 3 catchers, and 7 right-handed pitchers.
Yeah, with catching, it appears you just throw the widest net you can.
Basically.
And hopefully you pull somebody up there. So there are the non-roster invitees. Obviously, the big names are McGarry, Abel, Scott Kingery. and Carlos De La Cruz, I guess I would say.
Yeah, and definitely.
So we'll see what happens there.
Interested to see what Griff McGarry is going to look like.
And by the way, guys, I'm sorry.
Drop off.
Pache's getting one of the other spots.
Oh.
Yes, Pache is.
Totally forgot about it. He's getting one of the others. Assuming that Rojas makes the team out of camp or it's another outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really...
You're talking about one spot.
It's really one spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Want to also take this time to say hello to everybody that's in the chat. I know we've got Tyreek who just joined in saying that saying hello. You changed your work hours so you don't get the chance to tune in as much. Barbara's here. John Cheeseborough. All the Johns. We got John Cheeseborough, John Tequila. We've got the Daves in the house. Dave P, Dave Doer. I think Dave and John are probably our two most common names that we get for those of you that are
Somebody was touting their 50-degree weather in North Carolina.
Yeah, I think that was Dave or someone was talking about.
Cool.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cool.
I did see that. 50
I think
degrees
it was 17
nice
here
right
today.
now. But hit that like button. Glad you guys are here, being able to join us today.
Yeah, and let me tell you about Wheelhouse Cards, because Wheelhouse has two great locations in Wayne and Westchester. Wheelhouse is our go-to sports card gift apparel shop in the Delaware Valley. Their motto, it's cards and community, because a love of sports unites us all, brings all of us here together. They carry all your favorite card brands like Top Chrome, baseball and Mosaic football, as well as t-shirts, hats, and hoodies. Tons of great gear from your favorite brands like Mitchell & Ness, 47 brand, Junk Food, Starter, and Shy Vintage Sports. And if you're looking to grade your sports card collection, Wheelhouse offers PSA grading submissions. They also host a ton of different family-friendly events and birthday parties every single month. So stop into either of those two stores in Wayne or Westchester. Open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. Tell them PHLY sent you. Use PHLY and get $10 off any purchase of $25 or more in store. And be sure to give them a follow on Instagram at Wheelhouse Cards.
And it was Matt Deckert that was talking about the 50-degree weather down south. Well,
I'll be
if
in
you
Florida
rock,
next Friday.
If you're enjoying some nice weather and you want to maybe rock some great flip-flops or gear, you can do so with Foco.
I'll be wearing them. I'll be wearing flip-flops, Renee. Don't you worry about that.
Okay.
Foco, holler at me.
Foco, you can take advantage of all the great merchandise they have. They're the leading sports and entertainment manufacturer of everything: bobbleheads, collectibles, toys, hats, flip-flops, slippers, and socks, and hoodies, overalls. Everything they've got socks at Foco is great. We love socks. We love slippers. We love our feet being warm. And if you do too, you can take advantage of purchasing some great footwear, hatwear, whatever it is you're looking to buy. Use the code PHLY10 and get 10% off of your purchase over at Foco. Again, our friends at Foco, who are always also dropping in different deals and giveaways and specials. They've got festive, holiday-specific themed merchandise. They've got sports-specific for all of our teams that you want to rock. So again, over at Foco, use the code PHLY10 to be able to get 10% off your purchase. Team socks.
Yeah. Before we get to Down on the Farm, one little piece of information. We have a relief pitcher kind of want list working here, and I think we're down to Phil Maton, Hector Neris, and Robert Stevenson. And Hector Neris might have just walked himself right off that list yesterday. It comes out that Hector Neris is seeking a 3-year, $50 million deal. Hector. Good for you. I hope you get it. A little rich for my blood.
Yeah, $50 million is very surprising. Mark Feizen has reported that the Yankees and Rangers were emerging as front runners for Hector Neris. So also in the market for Neris, just like they're in the market for Hader. Seems like they've got some relievers and different names they're keeping their eyes on. But that $50 million number, as he's looking to get that, is something that absolutely scares some teams away. An average salary of $16.7 million would make him the second highest paid relief pitcher in Major League Baseball behind New York Mets closer Edwin Diaz. So, I don't know that Hector Neris is worth that much, and that's what different reports are coming out saying. Whoa, baby. Hector Neris is looking for a lot of money, and we're not sure he's really a player that's deserving of all of that. But you know what? Shoot your shot, I guess.
Yeah,
why not? With all this money that's being thrown around that teams are, negotiating with players for, why not start high and then work your way back? So for that reason, for negotiating purposes, if that's his asking price for interested suitors, shoot your shot, Hector Neris. Pow, pow.
Yeah, but
Maybe some air balls and some brick houses you're building, but shoot your shot.
I think he's pricing himself out of the Philadelphia market. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's misjudging the market for sure.
Yeah. One of the other sites we use is Baseball Prospectus for our Down on the Farm report, and we'll get to that in 1 second. But yesterday, Baseball Prospectus, we also use Fangraphs and Baseball America and MLB.com, and we kind of combined them all.
Cross-referenced so many.
But Baseball Prospectus released their top 101 prospects in Major League Baseball yesterday. And yesterday we had the conversation of, like, in Philadelphia, we have this classic case of overvaluing our prospects because they're so few and far between when they actually work out that, like, when we get somebody with promise, we become like JoJo the Idiot Circus Boy and, Tommy Boy, and we get so excited. There was only one Philly on their top 101 list, and it was Andrew Painter at number 19. Now, I would imagine Justin Crawford, Mick Abel, maybe Aiden Miller are right outside that list. Like, I think if you went up to 120, we haven't seen the full list, but, like, I would imagine some of those guys are in that range. So it's not like all doom and gloom, but anytime you have a top 100 list and there's how many teams, Tyler? 32?
30.
30.
That
30.
number's not great.
That's not a good ratio.
Not at all.
No, because Renee,
100.
you're the math person here.
It's 0.9%.
Yeah.
Dang it, Tyler! I was trying to wait till he finished the question.
Sorry.
He
It's like
just
Jeopardy. You
smoked
got to
you.
wait till the question gets asked.
Wow.
My bad.
That's not a good ratio.
What is 0.9%? My bad.
Not good at all.
You would like to see at least 3 guys in a top 100 list. So, I know that there are prospects and we get all excited and worked up about them, but, like, you have to remember there's a lot of teams in baseball and a lot of them are much better at scouting and player development than you. So not a great ratio.
The prospectus list put everything in perspective because it definitely is not great to see out of 100 people. We polled 100 people and only one represents the Phillies. I know BR Walkoff was also tweeting about their top 100 prospects list that they dropped. They've got some well-represented clubs. The Orioles have 7.
Yeah, they're
the
good.
Padres have 7. The Cubs have 6. This puts into perspective, guys, when we're talking about possibly using Phillies prospects in any sort of a move, that there are other prospects and other organizations that are ranked higher than the Phillies. Our top prospect is not even able to play in 2024.
Yeah.
So that in itself needs to put stuff in perspective.
Yeah, when
know.
everybody talks about Mick Abel is untouchable, get a grip.
Right, because compared to other teams, they have 6, 7 prospects that have cracked that top 100 list. Not to mention, as we all know, top prospects in general are just prospects, just potential. We don't actually know what that equates to. But the Phillies having just 1 in 100, no bueno, guys.
Yeah, and
No
if
bueno
there was a situation where Emmanuel Clase or Devin Williams became available, Mick Abel is not going to prevent me from going and making the World Series, or the chances of making a real World Series contending team a strong possibility by adding one of those.
So, by the way, who was number 1 on that list? Was it one of the 2 Jacksons?
I didn't actually. I would imagine. I think Jackson Holiday was number 1.
So my guess is Jackson Holiday's 1, Jackson Cheerios 2.
My guess. Let me pull it up real quick here.
I don't have access to the
I have to get the login.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
It's in my sheet. I'm not automatically
my guess
logged
is in some semblance the top
Yes,
5
I would
includes
imagine
those
those are the top 2.
Pete Crow Armstrong,
The LSU guy, is that Pete?
Paul Skeens.
Yes, he's definitely up
and
there.
potentially Dylan Cruz may be in the top 10 at this point, but Skeens for sure.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind when we talk about Phillies prospects.
Perspective.
There was one signing yesterday that jumped off the paper at me, and it was done by the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's not very often that a move of theirs catches my eyeballs, but when you sign a 16-year-old kid from Panama named Iverson Allen, you're going to get my attention. Iverson Allen, he's a 6-foot, 160-pound outfielder from Panama. That is incredible. Your last name is Allen. You name your kid Iverson. I think we can all derive that clearly the parents were big AI fans.
I don't need to know anything else about this guy. His name is the answer. It's everything you need. He just sounds like a baller to me, and it's interesting. It's twisted by his parents.
Poor kid.
I know it's twisted by his parents because he put a lot of pressure on Iverson. But to be able to be 6 foot, which is about the height of Allen Iverson, be a potential, be a pro athlete. He's so far doing well. So IA, I guess you would call him as, he's not AI, he's IA.
Is he the question?
Is he what?
Does that make him the question? If Allen Iverson's the answer, is he the question? I'll see myself out.
I'll see myself. Yeah, I see my jokes are rubbing off on you, Tyler. I appreciate that. That was like a classic me joke.
Yeah.
No, it was cute. It's fun. It's like it makes you think of some names that we've heard over the years that are like interesting. So Iverson Allen, I respect.
Yes.
Respect to you.
We will get to the Down on the Farm report right after our guest here. But we will get to Down on the Farm. And today's, Tyler, you put the hex on me. You said there's no way I can butcher this kid's name. We'll see about that. We'll see about that.
You should not. That'd be an issue.
I don't know. It's pretty tough.
I'd have a problem with that. Some other quick news as we get ready for our guests. We did see the Blue Jays sign right-handed pitcher Yariel Rodriguez to a 4-year, $32 million deal. Also, some updates. The Yankees, it is unlikely that the Yankees will sign Blake Snell after signing Marcus Stroman. That's, of course, John Heyman's terms. Unlikely. And the Giants are the most likely candidate for Matt Chapman, according to John Heyman. So some more updates that have been coming around with that. And as we're getting closer to the start of the season, we're getting closer to game time. So take advantage of the Game Time app where you can buy your tickets. Download the app today. And when you are, as a first-time user, when you are able to download it and use the code PHLY, you're also able to take advantage of a great deal, getting $20 off of your purchase. Game Time app does a good job of providing you an opportunity to see great tickets at a good price, but also being able to see your seats. So now you have a picture of where you're going to be seated, getting a view of the court, the field, whatever concert, comedy show, game you're going to with the Game Time app. It makes it easy. And then you don't have to worry about fumbling at the door, trying to find your tickets. There's always a mad crowd. I swear, no matter how big the crowd is, there's always that person that gets to the front and they're not ready. Don't be that person. With the Game Time app, get to the door, scan easily, get in there, get to your seats, and enjoy your comedy show, your concert, or your game. So again, download the Game Time app, use code PHLY, and get $20 off of your purchase.
I'm going to a concert tonight on a school night, and my wife used Game Time to get the tickets. Yeah. Over at the Fillmore, the Black Pumas.
He's the cool dad.
He's such a cool dad.
I'm cool dad.
You're going out on a Thirsty Thursday
night. Yeah, Julia's coming with us.
Renee, you ready me and you to do the show tomorrow?
Serious. Thank goodness I'm driving this tomorrow.
I'll be fine. I can't go too hard to the hole on a Thursday. It's crazy.
So he says, let's make note of that, Tyler. At 12:35 on Thursday, James Edward Lynch quoted, "I'll be fine."
Yeah, I'll be fine.
And we'll see what happens by 12 tomorrow.
Speaking of getting hammered, let's bring in our next guest. You might know him on Twitter as Absolutely Hammered. It's AH_pod. Check out his work. His name is Chris Jones, or as he said, I can introduce him as that piece of shit, Chris. But Absolutely Hammered joins the show. Chris, thanks for hopping on with us today, man. Appreciate it. Maybe not.
I think, Chris, you might be muted. I will say, though, I'm glad that I've learned his full name because I didn't know he's always absolutely hammered to me.
Yes.
And I've always been
followed
curious.
each other for a while on Twitter, and I thought it was a previous account, and then so I was like, it is Chris, right? And he's like, yeah, it's Chris. Or you can call me that piece of shit if you want. And I was like, no, well, if you give me that opportunity, I mean, might as well run with it.
Okay, I say someone allows you to yeah, sure.
Yeah, but Chris is a great follow in Phillies land. He does a ton of videos and nonsensical memes.
Like you can hear him now.
And all sorts I got to hear all those nice things about. So we'll get him on momentarily. There's always some Skype issues on our end. It isn't an internet broadcast if there isn't a technical difficulty or two. Isn't that right? And Tyler, we have the AirPlay screen in here now.
Happy Thursday!
Our pets' heads are falling off. But we'll get Chris here in a minute. Got to ask him about Scotty Jetpacks, and he's a big "do something now, Dombrowski, you coward" meme guy. So we'll see his feelings on the slow-ish off season. It's been now like 60 some days since the Phillies made a move when they signed Aaron Nola. Chris, do you hear us?
Oh, yeah, I hear you fine. Can you guys hear me?
Okay, there we go. Welcome in, buddy.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I got to hear some nice things about me since this delay, so that was cool.
You, in terms of Phillies Twitter and accounts and whatnot, you're absolutely one of my favorite accounts to follow. You do a lot of great memes and videos, and I know you're buddies with our own John Foley. So it's great to have you on the show. We were talking about it, Chris. Scotty Jetpacks, a non-roster invitee to camp. Your thoughts?
Well, I guess it's his year again for the 5th time, right? I mean, why not take the shortcut and just go get Whit Merrifield, who's already good and the same thing. The guy they wanted Kingery to be, I think. It'll be fun, like always.
I think the hope and dream with when Matt Klentak gave him that wonderful deal was that he was going to become our Whit Merrifield, and it never panned out. But we'll see.
Every time he comes
I'd be lying if I said I'm not going to pay attention. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to pay attention to him in spring training. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, you kind of have to, because if he did finally figure it out, that would be great. But like you guys were saying, he's got to be better than Rodolfo Castro, and it's like, how can you not be? You know?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to know, Chris, where you are on prospects, because we have talked a lot on the show about the fact that people may often overhype prospects, Phillies prospects specifically. And then, of course, Prospectus drops a list. We only have one on that top 100 list. It's just Andrew Painter, who's not even going to be able to play this year. Are you on the bandwagon of protect the prospects at all costs, or are you one that's understanding, hey, we've had prospects in the past that haven't panned out? If there's an opportunity that opens, that's a better deal, take the deal. Prospects go.
Yeah, I stopped prospect hugging last season, or 2022, sorry, because my main concern was I didn't want to start trading our best prospects before we showed that we could actually make it to the playoffs. So, like, once that happened, like, once we made that World Series run, I do not care. Like, I will pack Mick Abel up myself. But again, as long as it's responsible, I guess. But the longer it goes with this boring off season, the more I'm ready to just be like, I don't care. Trade whatever. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. So,
like
Chris,
it.
what are your thoughts on this offseason? I know you're a big Robert Stevenson guy, much like us. If they did that, I would consider it, a boring but successful offseason. And then I think you use the trade deadline to upgrade whatever hole that might be, if it's outfield or possibly that 6th starter again. What are your thoughts on this quasi-boring offseason?
I go back and forth because I know it doesn't seem like it, but I try to be rational. And so, like, one day I'm freaking out because I'm like, but then I just have to look around. Nothing else is happening, really. I mean, so then my rational side of me is like, all right, nothing's happening. Dave is waiting around like everybody else. And then the next day I'm freaking out again. It's just, when you compare it to something like the Harper off season, they got so much done beforehand before, we had to just focus on waiting for Harper. And so that, at first I was like, it can't be as bad as the Harper one, but I feel like it's surpassed that at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I feel like we kind of all have those moments where it ebbs and flows. One minute you're like panicking a little bit. The next minute you're understanding, okay, nobody else is really doing anything major. It's calmed down at this point. Obviously, the Dodgers, a whole different story there. But something else that we've heard as of recent, Rob Thomson's comments talking about leadoff. Now, we gave our projected starting lineups that we would want for the batting order. Rob came out and cleared the air. He said, look, we've got a lot of options at leadoff with Trey and Stott, but at this point, I don't think anybody can argue the fact that we've won a lot of games with Schwarber in the leadoff spot and scored a lot of runs with him in the leadoff spot. Kyle Schwarber stays at the leadoff spot. Are you for this, or are you one that was kind of open to seeing something different, maybe Trey Turner or Bryson Stott at the leadoff spot instead?
Last season, I was still kind of like, please push Kyle back. But as it went on, and he just seems to do best there, and Rob really wants him there, and Kyle seems comfortable there, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. Like, if that is what is actually going to work, then I'm down for it. He gets on base a lot, and he's hitting behind the kids who get on base a decent amount. So it's not the worst thing in the world, and especially if you're probably going to be having Turner bat second.
Yeah, I think when you have Rojas 9th and kind of use it, if he can get on base a little bit, get that speed on the base path. I'm like you, Chris. I've just kind of resigned to it. I'm like, whatever. I can't fight this fight forever. I don't agree with it, but the results are there, and it's been
Kyle
successful.
said he wants to be at the leadoff spot.
Yeah, it's just like I don't have that fight left in me anymore. I know I'm going to lose. But, Chris, I know you tuned in yesterday to Jonathan Papelbon. The reason we got him on, one, was I know he's a character. Most of the responses on social media were like, why the F are you having this guy on? What were your thoughts on the interview? In particular, his love of Carlos Ruiz, who's the most adorable Philly that's ever Phillied. and his thoughts on Ruben Amaro Jr. and keeping this beef going.
When I saw you guys were having him on, I couldn't wait because I knew there'd be at least like a couple moments where he's just going to say something crazy. I didn't think he'd go after Rube like he did. Like, I know he doesn't like him, but I didn't think he would just come out and say it. But I should have known better, I guess. That was pretty funny. And then Ruben responding and just saying Pat pitched well. That was pretty funny.
That was classy by Rube
great.
to take the high road.
And it felt almost like, go ahead.
What I wanted to hear was about Chooch, because you hear about how much every pitcher loves Chooch. And I never really saw anything out there with Papelbon. And if anybody maybe didn't get along with it, it might be him. And of course, it was what you'd expect. Chooch is just the most lovable person on the planet.
Chickens, I've got chickens.
Right. Panamanian redneck, that's all. But it was great because I know we talked afterwards about how it was nice to see John in a different light, kind of. You know, I feel like he surprised a lot of people with his responses and how he was talking about his experiences and talking about Bryce Harper, clearing the air on a lot of things. And it just felt very mature and professional in what he was saying, which is kind of different than what we saw as him as the player. So for that reason, I think we were surprised. What was your thoughts on just kind of overall how John just talked through Bryce, his experiences, Chooch, stretching naked, everything that we learned in yesterday's discussion, since you, of course, were a part of that as well?
Oh, man. That was the stretching naked thing. Definitely caught me off guard. But at that point in the interview, I had realized he really is just the guy I think he is. So he's just a nutball. It was surprising to hear him say that if he gave it one more run, he'd come to Philly to win. And I do believe that he's not pandering to us. I think he came here to win, and he probably want another shot with Bryce and to get it done. But that was surprising.
Yeah, I don't think he's one to pander. I think he just says what he thinks. Chris, Hector Neris was one of our 4 wanted bullpen names. I think he removed himself from that list yesterday, if the reports are accurate, that he's looking for 3 years, $50 million. Your thoughts?
I mean, it was kind of a no for me before he asked for all that money, just because he's going to be 35. And, like, his numbers still look good. But he's losing velocity, and I feel like he's one of those. He comes here, signs that 2 or 3 year deal he wants for what, $18 million a year, I think. I think he would terrify me coming here. I don't think it would work out, especially when I see velocity dipping like that. I just get nervous. I'm like, nope.
So who is your bullpen want list? I know you're big on Stevenson. Anybody else out there kind of catch your wants and desires here with the bullpen arm?
Yeah, I mean, I gave up on Stevenson, even though I want him, because I don't know if you guys saw today, Matt Gelb of The Athletic, he did a piece today, and he flat out said Jordan Hicks and the Phillies had mutual interest. But like we thought, the Giants offered him a spot to start, so that was the difference breaker. And he went on to say that, that's Dave's typical mold for a reliever he wants, fast thrower, can go multiple innings. So now I think you just got to go back to another thing Gelb said at the start of the season. He identified early Phil Maton, because that guy does go multiple innings. He doesn't throw fast, but he strikes people out. So I guess I'm hoping for Phil Maton at this point.
I got to be honest, it doesn't thrill me, but it's solid, like I'm not doing cartwheels outside around the block, but I acknowledge it's a solid baseball move.
Are there any specific names, Chris, that you would be interested in? Because we've kind of been on the kind of thinking at this point, we don't really know who's out there that makes sense in terms of free agents specifically, but who makes sense for the Phillies right now that has you jumping with excitement when you hear the name. I mean, Hector Neris, Jordan Hicks would have been great, but there's not a lot of names left. Which player would you feel like would make a great addition for the Phillies if they were to make a move?
It's so hard at this point, because I think after they kind of gave Rojas, they didn't give him the job, but then they started backing off on the whole Dombrowski saying it wasn't guaranteed. They were like, well, this and that. I feel like they need some type of insurance for him. I know Pache's going to be on the roster too, like Tyler said, and I guess he's supposed to be the insurance. I don't feel comfortable with that, so I'd like if they could, bolster that up. And they need starting pitching depth. It's like any name I would think of. Like early on, I thought maybe they would just go for a left fielder, and I thought Jorge Soler might be one you can get, for a couple years, see how it works out, but I think they're going to end up with Martian left, Rojas in center, at least to start. And then if it's so bad, they just address it at the deadline.
I'm kind of down so bad in boredom. I'm going, hey, just get Tommy Pham. Like, he's a guy that seems to show up in the postseason. He's a total whack job and, not that sexy in the regular season. But he seems to have those postseason, like, onions a little bit. I don't know. That's how bad I'm down.
How about Jock Peterson?
Whatever happened to him? What the fuck was that?
We
He was
had
a Philly
heard the
for
Blue
5
Jays
minutes.
for 5 whole minutes. Then we heard the Blue Jays were apparently interested, and we still haven't heard anything else. But
Yeah.
so bizarre. But the one other thing I do want to talk about with you, Chris, that was bizarre. This happened many, many years ago. As we talk about former Phillies that removed themselves. This one removed himself from the game. John Kruk. Now, the video that went viral, Major League Baseball, was going through players' retirement and how their final send-off. And we all remember at different points that moment. Now, for John Kruk, when he had that slump, couldn't get a hit, finally gets a hit in the first inning, hits a single, and then just disappears for the rest of the game. Frank Thomas was pinch hitter for him. Everyone's like, where is he? He was home, drove home, got dressed, drove home, and then announced later, I'm retiring, as he finished his lifetime with a batting average exactly at 300. Classic John. When you're talking about legendary former Phillies in that moment, take us through how you felt when you kind of had, I've seen that circulate again, seeing that send-off circulate again, reactions of the reminder of, I'm retiring from John Kruk.
It's so on brand for him. I love it so much. Kruk is he's been so good on the broadcast. And it's just like, I didn't even know that story originally. I had just never heard it. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. That is something he would do. And I appreciate him for it. That's how I would want to go out. When you're done, you're done.
Yeah, he knew it. And knowing John, he probably knew he was at 300 and just said, yep, no, I'm good. I'm going to end my career like this.
Well, hey,
Chris,
Jose Reyes did that for the batting title. So.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Chris, it's been a lot of fun having you on. Appreciate your time. You can follow Chris on Twitter at @AH_pod. He does a lot of Phillies work with a couple other people in town. You can always catch some great videos and memes off of his account. Very entertaining Phillies follow. We appreciate you hopping on.
All right, yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, see you, Chris.
See ya.
There he is. Chris Jones runs Absolutely Hammered. Does a Phillies podcast himself with a couple other guys, and just a fun little Phillies discussion there.
And you know what, Jamie, as we're talking about John really quickly, we are at one point going to have him on the show. He's already said, Renee, I'm coming on. I'm going to come in studio when he's in Philly. He's going to join us later on this spring. I can't wait to ask him about that moment. But
yes,
that's definitely a legendary story that we'll get to at one point on the show. Oh yeah,
one of a kind for sure.
With Kruk about that.
All right, let's get to the farm report. We got to go down on the farm today, and I promise you, I cannot screw this name up.
I would kick you off the show if you did.
Hobart Moore.
You're annoying.
Robert Moore is today's.
That's it for Jamie Lynch. Per Renee Washington, Jamie Lynch will no longer be on the show anymore.
So this is Robert Moore.
We mutually parted ways.
He's number 17 on our list. He fluctuates anywhere from 24th last year on MLB to as high as 16th on Fangraphs. I think Baseball Prospectus had him somewhere in that 21 range. Baseball America will find out shortly as theirs is about to be announced. We settled him in at number 17. He's a second baseman that has up the middle defensive potential. Still 21 years old. He's from the University of Arkansas. Another one of these slender kind of build kids, 5'9", 170. Him and Aiden Miller have started this Arkansas Razorback connection here to the Philadelphia Phillies. His father is a major league scout, so he comes from a long line of baseball bloodlines. His dad, I think, works for the Royals in the scouting department.
He used to be the Royals president of baseball operations.
Yeah.
Dayton Moore.
Yeah. I'll be honest, the name test doesn't really do much for me. Doesn't sound like a major leaguer. I don't know if this kid's going to make it or not. Robert Moore?
Of the name.
Well, I think the baseball player name test is essentially everything.
Is Jamie Lynch?
No.
Does that count as a baseball player name?
Not a
No.
baseball.
What if you were James?
Yeah.
If you go as James.
No, it doesn't work. I'd have to go.
Jim?
James.
What's the most baseball name of James, Jim, or Jamie? Probably
JL.
Jim. Probably Jim. I
think
guess.
you need a
I don't
nickname.
sound like a Major League Baseball player.
I think you'd have to be Jay.
I think you'd have to combine your two names
Jay
and be
Lynch.
Jed.
Yeah. Tyler Zulli, now I can see that being a Major League name.
Tyler, yes. Zulli, no.
Tyler's not.
A little more than
Tyler's
Jamie
a child's
Lynch.
name.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Robert Moore doesn't
So, I don't
pass
know
the
what to
name
tell you.
test for me.
I know. Tyler Zulli definitely is much more baseball than
Yeah.
James. But Jay Lynch would be good.
So his scouting
He does
grades.
J-A-Y. Jay.
Yeah,
Jay-
like
yeah.
Jay.
Yeah, Jay
Lynch.
Bruce, Jay Lynch.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
Yeah. So his scouting grades for Robert Moore. He's a 45 on the hit scale. And again, this is the 20 to 80 scout scale that they use. Power's a 40. His running ability is very strong at 55. His arm is 45. His fielding is his best aspect overall at 60. Overall, he comes out to a 40 on the scale. Not, something you're running through walls about. He is a switch hitter. He has been powerful and productive from the left side, though that flipped a little bit last year in 2023. He has sneaky pop for his size. He is likely to be a below average compared to his peers in terms of pop. He typically does a good job of expanding the zone and should make enough contact with good bat speed from either side to be a potential average overall hitter in the end, though his high A experiences were relatively rough. The switch hitting aspect, the defense, that's fun. The rest just seems kind of like, okay, good luck, kid. Like, I hope you make it.
So he's had a good upbringing. Obviously, it helps his dad being Dayton Moore and being connected to the Kansas City Royals. Definitely helps. So Robert actually graduated early from high school. He went to Shawnee High School, not in New Jersey, Shawnee Mission East High School out in Kansas, and graduated early so he could enroll early in Arkansas. That's the joke, Arkansas.
Oh, Jamie, we just need you for the trifecta at this point. We've hit our dad joke
I always
criteria.
have to hit on my jokes. But no, you guys, everybody calls it Arkansas.
You're the layup of dad jokes.
Yeah,
Skylar's big into the dad jokes right now. So one I hit her with last night is, what do you call an angry carrot? A steamed veggie.
Okay. And I'm the one with bad jokes.
What do you call a horse in the barn that fell over? Or what does the horse say in the barn when he fell over?
Oh, no, you messed up the joke.
I can't.
Wait, start again.
What does the horse say in the barn that fell over?
Nay.
I can't giddy up.
Oh, okay.
Hey, these play really well to a 4.5-year-old, okay?
I like my Arkansas better.
Okay.
He evolved from Kansas to Arkansas.
She wouldn't have got that because the spelling. She wouldn't have tied the two together.
Okay, now we're judging jokes. Anyways, he graduated early from high school to go to the University of Arkansas early. And then at Arkansas had a pretty good stretch in 61 games. And he had a slash of 283, 408, 558 with 16 home runs, 53 RBIs. Of course, he was in college during COVID, so that messed things up after a decent freshman year. Now, professionally, drafted by the Brewers, 72nd overall pick in 2022, signed for $800,000. And then made his professional debut with the Arizona Complex League Brewers. Now, he was traded to the Phillies. I know in the chat you guys were mentioning it back in November, along with Henry Mendez in exchange for Oliver Dunn. Now, for Moore, after having kind of just like a wonky stretch, I feel like a lot of players we have to keep in mind that are prospects had to go through the whole COVID college experience. He was someone that was named to USA Baseball National Collegiate Team. He was someone that's been involved. He's had opportunities, I should say. I feel like and I don't know if it was also through the help of his dad of knowing where to kind of go and get opportunities and experience. But I feel like that was one of the biggest things I took from him, that maybe his numbers aren't the best, but he's someone that's gotten exposure. And so, in 2023 with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers, he played over 123 games with 233 and 8 home runs, 62 RBIs. As we talked about his numbers, and 33 doubles, 26 stolen bases. So just a guy that I feel like has exposure. And I think exposure is huge.
I feel like his ceiling is a bench player that can play the middle infield.
And I get the vibe from him, to be honest, that he's one of those players that's been given opportunities, but maybe wasn't talented enough for those opportunities because of having connections and having a dad that's involved with Major League Baseball. unfortunately it does sometimes allow you to get into these spaces. I mean, to be 17 years old playing college baseball because your dad probably encouraged you, hey, you know what? This is a great next step for you. A lot of people don't have that opportunity. So I do agree. I feel like maybe his talent's not there, but it's more of like he's gotten the exposure and that's potentially helped him at least be in the conversation as a prospect.
Yeah, it says, he's got a great baseball IQ, and if he was a white football player, they went with the high motor aspect for him.
If he was a white football player?
Yeah, you know how every white football player that's going to get drafted early, they say has a high motor. They're applying that to him, so I would say basically no shot.
Right. I don't get the vibe of him being like overly athletic and extremely talented.
High motor is basically code for like he tries really hard.
You got high IQ because you literally grew up in a baseball household where you learn the game through and through. You've got exposure, you've got connections, but maybe you're not as good as others, but you're in that spot because of those. Yeah, he says,
and being a baseball, son of somebody, I think that the instincts are there, the baseball IQ's there. Says he has a fringy arm strength that will likely keep him in the Keystone long term, and he could be an absolute asset there. The glove work is high, and his high motor give him a high floor, and he could be everyday quality if he can swing it like he did when playing in Australia.
It does say above average runner, gamer mentality, strong defensive player, ability to hold down second base, works his way up the ladder, so a hard worker. And overall, his resume has been seen as impressive. But as mentioned, it's just a solid pick that may have been someone that was somewhere else picked in the first 3 rounds as well. So, I mean, okay.
I'm not.
I don't know, guys. If this guy pans out, he might become Scott Kingery.
Yeah, it's kind of what it sounds like. Maybe give him some outfield experience as well. All right, we're going to get to our daily positivity. And this one is actually... we're going to kick it to our Discord channel and one of our most active sickos in the Phillies Discord. If you want to get access to the Phillies Discord or the Sixers, Flyers, Eagles, Union Discords, you just have to become a diehard here at allphly.com. I'm becoming a big Discord guy because it's a nice, positive community. There's no trolls. It's just like good, open discussion. We talk about anything. The Flyers people are absolutely nuts on Discord. That's just like a constant thread of paragraphs. Phillies is a little more tame. Sixers is a little bit, a lot of trade talk and rumors. And then the Eagles, the room's on fire right now and everybody's going nuts. But it's a good time. So if you head to allphly.com, you can become a diehard. You get the Discord invite, you get merchandise discounts, you get discounts on trips and stuff we're going to do. Plus you get a free t-shirt and all that stuff. So it's good shit. In other words,
I just chuckle every time you say I'm becoming a big Discord guy.
I like it.
I'm just really enjoying the Discord.
Nobody's like faceless in there. Everybody like has a name, and it's a good community. It's not Twitter, formerly as X. Yeah, well, I never used Discord before this.
A sports community of friends you can chat with and
no dickheads.
Talk sports.
No dickheads allowed.
Dad jokes and other ridiculous things.
Somebody had a good one. I think it was Dave P. It said, "What do you call a cow with no legs?" Ground beef.
I've heard that one before, actually.
Got him. I'll use that one on Skype. I'll use.
I don't know. Do you think your girls would? Do you think she'll get that?
I think she'll laugh. She'll humor me and laugh and not probably get it.
No, because I feel like ground beef you don't really understand.
Yeah, if I laugh, she'll laugh. She's an easy audience.
So none of your jokes are good. You just laugh so she laughs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically.
Jamie's reveling
have you done the basics of like where would the cow like to go for fun? The movies? Like, have you done those basics?
No. Oh. I just started getting into the dad jokes with her because she's terrible at telling jokes.
Oh.
So she's like coming and telling me jokes, and then I have to fake laugh with her. Her jokes don't make any sense, Renee.
I know.
She's trying real hard. They're
Neither
not
do
good.
Yours, though?
So I'm trying to get on her level,
Yeah.
So this one goes to our member, MJ Logan, in our Discord for our daily positivity. We called in the switch hitter off the bench here, and MJ Logan says this in our Discord. Sir Anthony Dominguez will make his $8 million club option for 2025 seem like a bargain. He shot out of a cannon and was the guy until injuries sapped his confidence. After a couple weird years, he's coming in 2024, fresh off a normal offseason with normal prep and zero expectations. I might slightly disagree with the zero expectations. I've heard many conversations from everyone about Alvarado, Kerkering, Hoffman, and Soto anchoring the back end of the rotation, and Dominguez is always left out of that group. This is the year Sir Anthony reminds everyone why they were at one time as excited about him as they are currently projecting Mr. Kerkering.
I like it.
I totally agree. I think there are some expectations because, Rob still trusts him in those high leverage situations. So I think there are some expectations with him. I have more expectations for him than I do Kerkering or Soto. And that's not to say Kerkering can't be better, but I don't want to put that many eggs in the kid's basket until I've seen more at the major league level.
Yeah.
I know Sir Anthony can do it. So I want to see it from him this year. And I think he's right. If he has a really strong year next year at $8 million, that could look like a bargain.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is you've got Orion, who's 22, and Sir Anthony, who's 29. So obviously the expectations are going to be different, that we're still looking at potential for Orion of what he can be versus Sir Anthony of what we've seen and what we'd like him to be, if that makes sense. So
Sure.
I like this idea because I do feel like part of our manifesting positive thoughts for the Phillies is it goes all the way through the roster. You need players like someone like Sir Anthony to be better, to be great. I know John in the chat saying Sir Anthony was great in 2022. You need a bounce back year for him. We need to have a steady Sir Anthony and definitely someone that we're including in the conversation. We're understanding why that deal was a good deal.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I like it.
it.
MJ Logan 42.
Yeah, it
nice
was a good
job in
one.
the Discord.
And if any of you in the chat here are diehards or want to send us an email with a daily positivity from you, we'll use it because that was number 13.
Lucky
Tomorrow
number 13.
I am up with number 14, and then we will have 10 to go. All right, let's get to Guess That Swing. Now, yesterday was absolutely diabolical. I didn't see it coming. I feel hoodwinked.
I was thrilled.
Hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray.
Okay.
Run amok.
Okay.
Chris-
Dad joke, calm it down. Sit
Chris,
down
our
over
social
there.
media director.
Stephen A. Smith, relax.
Yeah, like relax. I feel
Cole.
hoodwinked, bamboozled.
Do pitchers. This is a Guess That Swing. We
My
never clarified
gosh.
this.
Pitchers hit for 110 years.
They don't
Jamie.
anymore. They don't anymore. And we're better off for it, Tyler. I don't have to watch
Jamie's
hitters.
just mad because he finally took an L, and I'm thrilled that it happened.
Will, if
Okay.
you're looking for the Discord link and you're a diehard and haven't gotten it yet, my email is in my Twitter account at Lynch Jr. Send me an email and we can try and
Look at
sort
you.
out any issues for you if you're having one there.
Look at you, Discord guy. You're like such an expert of the Discord.
No, hardly at all. Andrew Frazier is our
Just
Discord
hyping you
guy.
up.
But yes,
hyping
Will,
you
send me an email and we'll try to get you
Woohoo!
situated there.
Matt said he got yesterday's.
A couple people
There were
did.
some people that did.
Yeah, a couple people on Twitter got
just-
it. One guy said it was the skinny ass that did it for him. He knew it was
It was the
Hamels.
height too and everything.
It
He was
looked
very
like
lean.
Hamels.
Yeah, but I wasn't thinking that.
I wasn't either. Now I know pitchers are apparently on the table, which makes
It
this
is
game even
anybody
harder.
dating back to 2006.
All right, Tyler, let's hit us
Oh,
with
no.
today's
Oh no! Oh,
Guess
no.
That Swing.
Flash.
Ooh.
Okay.
Uncle Baby Billy. It's a short fella.
Bop, 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 bop. I don't know the answer. Bop, bop, bop. Help.
My gut, I feel like, is wrong.
Okay.
The right hand is on. That's a lefty, actually. Right?
See, all these to me,
Now I'm
Then
like-
there's- you don't get to play
cannot-
this game of
No, it's a
right.
righty. It's a righty. It's a righty.
I cannot.
The left leg.
I cannot stand this because technically I can see it both ways.
No, you
I
can't.
see
you-
the inverse. I do. I do.
Yeah, no, the right hand's on top. Yeah. It's a
but,
righty.
Like I feel like
My
I
gut
can
is
see them
not-
both ways depending on where they are.
Mm.
All right. Yeah, hypothetical answer. I guess JT every other day. See, I find myself, I've got recency bias where I only want to guess players from like this team.
So here's the thing. I will tell you this.
Paul Revere.
JT's more upright. in his follow through.
Oh, so it's not JT.
I'm going to give you it's not JT.
I had another catcher
But
in mind as my gut.
JT is far more upright than this. This is a pretty bent back leg.
Yeah.
You guys are annoying. I don't know.
Great American Ballpark, Cincinnati. I think John Sequela's got it. So Taguchi, I don't think that's it.
Bap, 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 bap. Well, that's not my person. He's a righty.
Man, this is a tough one.
I don't like this game.
Because usually it comes to me fairly quickly. Like I can picture it.
Well, usually I know it pretty quickly.
Renee, the chat is pointing this out. Did you say Paul Revere?
No, because Mickey was saying Ben Revere, so I said Paul Revere. As a joke, guys, it's a joke. I know who Paul Revere is.
Beware the tale of the midnight ride.
All right, I'm telling you,
Paul Revere, Phillies player.
I am not
The
confident
midnight ride.
here at all, Tyler.
I am that student right now because I don't know the answers. That's just gonna throw out blasphemy to completely disrupt the A+ student that is James Edward Lynch.
All right, Jamie's answer is locked in.
Okay, what?
By the way, it is Thursday. We didn't get any trivia today either.
Well, we had a lot on the show sheet. We're gonna do it tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
All right, I guess.
I know. I actually forgot my book.
Okay.
It's in my bag. I forgot to bring it back.
I have very little confidence in my answer.
Oh,
Pete
brother.
Borges. I love some of the names that get pulled in this game.
Pete Borges. I saw a great meme yesterday. It was like, sorry, babe, can't come over. Me and the boys are naming random right fielders again.
All right. I think I have an answer.
Can't tell you how many times I've done that.
I think I have an answer.
Pete Happy? Jim Cunningham with the Pete Happy shout out. Yeah, I was thinking Paul's Boutique, also CMC, not Paul Revere. I might listen to some Beasties on the way home.
That can't be my answer. That guy's not a good answer. Oh, no.
Tyler, does my guess suck? Do you see my guess?
I see your guess. It doesn't suck. No.
Okay.
Not going to tell you if you're right or wrong.
Yeah,
but it doesn't suck.
All right. Because I've gone back and forth here. Rod Barajas.
All right, I'm texting you in 5 seconds.
Spiral Out wishes you a happy third Thursday of the new year, Renee.
Oh, thank you, Spiral. You know, I love that Spiral Out's very consistent and pays attention to these things. See, it's all about the little things.
And you're killing Dr. Nighthawk with your bop. And you did it to Julia earlier.
It's stuck in my head, guys, so I'm spreading it to everybody else. Bop,
we have a meeting after the show. I don't want to hear. No, stop.
Oh, no, we're going to have a meeting after the show, and it's called You Just Got Us Canceled.
Yeah.
We just got copyright strike. Thanks for playing.
Larry Christensen, no. John Sequela. Actually, LC is a good friend of my buddy's. I sit in his dining room.
I don't even have an answer. I don't have an answer. What do we have in the chat?
You just got to give me something.
Renee, you're just going to have to guess.
Oh, man. Oh.
Tojo. Wow, there's a name.
Oh, no.
Freddie Garcia.
If that's Joe Blanton, I'm done.
This is freaking hard. All right. I have it. I have an answer. It's not right, but whatever. My recency bias is really messing me up here. Where's my texting thread? Tyler, text coming in 5.
Okay.
4, 3, 2.
Sent.
All right, so both of you chose a catcher, and both of you are wrong because it's not a catcher. One of the ugliest base hits I've ever seen came off this man's bat, and it propelled the Phillies to a World Series run, and it is Jimmy Siggs.
It's funny that it's Segura because I always joked about his cake. He had a big ass.
But
I was looking at the thighs and I was going, damn, that right thigh is like pretty muscular. How did I not get Gene? Damn it. I was focused on his lower half. That's what she said. Yeah, that's my. I'm aware of what you're doing.
How did I not get Gene?
That was my.
Damn it.
That was my.
Focused on his lower half.
This is my distraught
Still
look.
trying to figure out how he made contact with the pitch in Game 1 of the NL wild card against the Cardinals. Still can't tell you how he did it. Poked it through the hole and it couldn't tell you.
I'm just happy Jamie got it wrong. Selfishly.
For the record, I voted Chooch because he came up on See, this is where I was thinking too hard about it because he came up on yesterday's show with Papelbon. I thought Chris was going to capitalize on Chooch. I saw a short right-handed man, and I went to Chooch. So, and who did you guess? JT?
Because I'm just going to continue guessing the same rotation of people.
Damn.
And one of them will be right.
Mean Gene.
How do you feel, Jamie? You got two wrong in a row.
I like Gene Segura a lot.
How does it make you feel? Are you okay?
2 in a row.
You were 7 for 7, and now you've gotten 2 wrong.
Yesterday was I feel vindicated from because I didn't know pitchers were on the table. I think I was sandbagged.
This makes me wish I had done our Thursday trivia to beat you down some more and get some more wrong answers out of you.
Mean Gene. How could I?
Wow.
Well, that's it for us today here on the PHLY Phillies podcast. I stink at this game now all of a sudden. And then we're going to put that out online and see if other people can get it. Maybe they'll focus on his ass.
Maybe.
Wow. Jeez. I mean, I don't see you like lighting the world on fire here, Renee.
Oh, no. Like I said, I'm fully the F student right now.
Yeah.
I'm failing, but my job is as a former class clown, if you can't do well academically, it's just my job to bring you down also.
Well, thanks for
That's what I'm here for.
Mean Gene. How could I miss him?
And we'll have trivia tomorrow.
Yes, and we'll have John Foley on tomorrow, who's been spending the week with the Phillies community service around town. So he's been going to all their events, talking to Rob Thomson and Orion Kirkering.
So encouraging my bullying.
We will talk with John tomorrow and have our typical Friday weirdness. And there's a snowstorm coming, so everybody be safe out there on the roads if you got to travel. And we will see you tomorrow at noon for the PHLY Phillies podcast. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us live, or if you listen later, we appreciate you. Hit that like button, and we will see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.